What's going on, guys? My name is Eldenero and welcome to another vlog on my channel. It's been a long time since I did one of these. I don't know if it's been a long time. It's been like, yeah, has been. It's been about 2 months maybe. I don't know. I don't really know if anyone really actually like wants these over anything else, or if people just watch them because there's not a whole lot else going on at the moment. But either way, I just felt like doing one. I don't know. I really like Q&A type videos. Like, I've always done them on my channel. They've always been a thing that I feel like my best commentaries come from. I'm not a very inspired person when it comes to actually speaking, which might surprise people because I have a fucking podcast. But I really like it when people kind of give me prompts and I get to talk about things. Don't know how much sense that's gonna make, but the questions are on. I have another screen here, so when I look away, I always feel like that might be awkward for people to watch. But I'm gonna go straight into this question after I put my phone on silent. So, the first question is from Connor Cassidy, who says, when will career mode be back, if at all? Sorry if this annoyed you. That is okay. It's okay to want a response to that question. It's obviously a question that I get a lot, and I like that you actually asked it as if you were talking to me and you didn't demand it from me as if I owe you something. So it will be back very, 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 very soon. Perhaps sooner than you even suspect. I am doing a career mode series. Probably, I'm hoping to get the first episode up this weekend. So we'll see how that works out. It's going to be different from any career mode I've ever done, which will add a new challenging element to it, which hopefully for me will add a sort of, or will at least bring a sort of sustainability to the series, so that I'm not going to give up halfway through, because I am really excited for this idea, and I think it's going to go pretty well. So that's just something for you guys to look forward to, I guess. The next question is from Sean McCauley, who says, what do you think of Milner and Ings? I think they are both good players. I think James Milner is one of the most like underrated midfielders in England. I feel as though he's just a very, very, very good player, like a very hard-working player. And I really like James Milner. He's, I don't know, got that reputation for being boring because someone made a Twitter account based on that. But Danny Ings, I honestly have not really watched a whole lot of, but I get that there's potential there. I get that there's a general consensus amongst like scouts and things like that, that Danny Ings has it in him to become a good player. Not that he's not a good player, but you know what I mean, like a top player, as it were. So yeah, I think if under the right guidance he could develop that talent, that would be a useful thing for a big club signing him. Next question is from Reese, who says, why didn't the last Q&A happen? I actually don't know. I asked for questions like about, I don't know when it even was, months ago, I guess. And I got some really, really neat questions, and I was looking forward to answering them because they were actually all genuinely really good. But I guess I just didn't get around to it. I think I remember that week being really surprisingly busy, and then it just got too late, and then I lost the tweet and I didn't know what was happening, and it was just awful. The next question is from Scott, who says, were you treated differently in school at Scotland than you were at Ireland? So in Scotland, was I treated differently in school? I see, yes, but only because I didn't actually go to school in Scotland. I went to college, so I was treated with like a lot of respect, because when you go to college, you're an adult, so you treat other people as though they too are adults, and that's how you develop a friendship and things like that. So yes, but not because I was Irish at all. I never once felt as though I were treated differently because of my nationality in college. In Scotland, yes, at some points. Not to say that's a reflection of Scottish people in general, but you're always going to have a minority of people who are idiotic, and I fell foul of that. Sometimes in Glasgow it was known to happen after a few drinks that people would realize I was Irish and use that as an opportunity to, I guess, profess their love for all things that are essentially anti-Irish, which was a strange kind of atmosphere to be involved in. But no, it was fine mostly. I really enjoyed interacting with Scottish people. I really enjoyed college and stuff. So treated differently, yes, but ultimately treated better. The next question is from Dave Golden, who says top 5 movies. I get this question an awful lot and I find it really difficult to answer, so I'm just going to answer it off the top of my head, even though this is not necessarily the top 5 movies that I love in the world, so I'm not going to give it too much thought. But at the moment, my top 5 movies are... This is hard. Goodfellas is definitely my all-time favorite movie, that is for sure. I think in at number 2, I'm gonna put possibly Fight Club, because even though I've definitely outgrown that sort of anarchist, like that sort of pro-anarchist mentality that makes a young person enjoy a movie like Fight Club, I really like the way it's directed, the way it's shot. I think it's like a really kind of unique movie, and it shows how innovative of a director David Fincher is. Like, there are so many things in that movie that even when I watch back now, I'm like, fucking hell, like that is really ahead of its time, and that's really unique and stuff like that. I also just do enjoy the absolute mental sort of the chaotic narrative and stuff like that, and I really like Chuck Palahniuk's books. But like I say, I have definitely outgrown that kind of mentality, and I feel as though I'm actually kind of too old for Fight Club now, which is stupid because it's definitely rated 18. But yeah, Fight Club would definitely be there at number 2. In at number 3, what would we have? Maybe American History X, but I'm not sure if I think... you know what, I'm going to go to IMDb and look at the movies that I've given a 10 to, because I think that would be a good way to figure it out. Where do you look at that? So in my IMDb list of movies that I've given a 10 to, there's Fight Club, there's Goodfellas, there's American History X, there's a movie called In Your Eyes, which was actually written by Joss Whedon back in the early 90s as far as I know, and he sold the script to somebody else, but it was eventually made last year. It's actually on Netflix. But it's got Zoe Kazan in it, and it's directed by someone called Bryn Hill. It's a really, really, really good movie, but if you read the tagline of it, you will think that it's a stupid fantasy rom-com type deal, and it is absolutely not that kind of movie, so I'd recommend watching that. I don't know, yeah, I'll put it in my top 5 for now, but it's probably wouldn't be there if I had to think about this a little bit more. And then number 5, I am going to go with a movie called Detachment, which has Adrian Brody in it, and it was directed by, I think, the same guy who directed American History X, and it's only about 80 minutes long or so, and it's also on Netflix as far as I know. But yeah, it's a really, like, you know, don't watch this movie if you like... Don't watch this movie if you're, like, in a bad place, because it did make me want to kill myself for a long time after I watched it. It's very harrowing and dark and stuff like that, but it's just an amazing movie that, I don't know, I guess just in terms of how intense it was and how intensely it made me look at the plot and the story and stuff, I'm gonna put that movie in there. So Goodfellas, Fight Club, American History X, In Your Eyes, and Detachment are my top 5 movies for today. Ask me again tomorrow though, and that list will be completely different. The next question is from Jamie Anderson, who says, would you say you have a strong conscience? I don't know. I feel like to say yes to this question would imply that I have this sort of faux modesty persona going on, where I'm like, yeah, I have a really strong conscience, I donate to charity regularly, and I'm just a really good person, you guys. But I feel like I actually do. I feel like I don't know, like, I once watched this movie called Lilia Forever, which again is a movie that will make you want to die after you watch it. It's a Swedish... I don't know what language it is, but I know it's shot in Estonia, but it's not, the entire dialogue isn't in Estonian at all. I think it might be in, I really have no idea, but there are some scenes in Sweden which may also be in Swedish, I don't know. But that movie is about human trafficking and how fucking awful and grim that entire experience is for the victim. And after, like, the day after I watched that movie, this guy came to my door working for an organization called Trócaire, which Irish people will know, they're a charity organization, and he was like trying to sell me this subscription that, you know, you give them a certain amount of money every month and it goes to charity and stuff. And all he had to do was say it's for victims of human trafficking. And I was like, okay, yes, I will sign up to this. Like, I didn't have, this was like a year ago, and I didn't have a job back then. I still don't. I'm looking for a job though. But like, my only income is YouTube, so like, I didn't really make a lot of money back then. Well, I had different sources of income back then, but anyways, that's not really to the point. The point is, he asked me to sign up to this thing to give like 15 euros a month, and he was like, you can just do it for 3 months or whatever, and then you can cancel at any time, but I'd like it if you did it for 3 months. And I did, and I'm still fucking signed up to it, and I'm still giving 15 euros a month to Trócaire because I watched that movie. I feel like that's kind of, it would have been on my conscience, and just even the idea of cancelling this subscription, which has entered my mind because I legitimately need to cancel this subscription because I cannot afford to pay it, but I still can't do it because I just see that movie again and I'm like, here, I'm paying money to, well, like, I'm contributing something to stop this from happening, so I can't do it. And I feel like that comes from definitely some place of empathy within me, which implies I must have a strong conscience. I don't know if that really means anything though. Like, it's kind of a question I ask myself from time to time. How much do I really care about certain things, and how much do I let certain things get to me? But I'll tell another story that I have told before, but you know, new subscribers, which there aren't any, I'm losing subscribers, may know. But I used to work in a call center, and I had to make phone calls to people where I'd ring them and ask them about if they needed an alarm system or something like that. And it was in this really dodgy, like, factory, like an old factory that was converted into an office with phones everywhere and stuff like that, and you had to read the names off a system in front. And like, half the people that I phoned were like, how did you get this number? Because I'm with TPS, which means that you shouldn't, no agency should have my phone number to be calling me like this. And like, some of the people were really old. One guy actually said, would you mind taking this name off the database because it's my dad and he's dying? And I was like, I just felt really fucking bad about the whole situation. But I googled it like when I got home, and I did like a lot of research about this company, and it turned out that they were actually just ripping people off and selling these alarm systems for contracts of upwards to like 11 grand or something like that, when they're worth like £60. So I went into work one day and deleted every single name off of the database on my computer, because I guess they didn't have any security system on it, because it was an illegal practice anyway. So I deleted everyone off my computer. I told my boss I was going for a cigarette, and then never came back. So I guess that also came from having a conscience. The next question is from Jay, who says, what's your opinion on a gap year, and did you take one? I feel like my opinion on a gap year is that for the last 4 years I have felt like my life is a permanent gap year. I feel like if I were to take a gap year, that's like a break from education in any way would just be enough to make me lose all motivation to continue with it. Like, if I were in second year and then taking a gap year and then to go back for another 2 years, that's not happening. In Ireland we have a thing called transition year, which in the 4th year of your secondary school education, you kind of do this year where you still have classes, but they're not as intensive. You do a lot more activity-based things, and you do work experience and things like that. And I didn't do transition year. I skipped it because I wanted to get out of education as soon as possible. Well, I wanted to complete my education as soon as possible. But I did a HND in business management, which is the first 2 years of a degree, and I still have 2 years to go in order to get a degree in business management. But like, I've been out of education for so long that like, I don't know where the motivation has gone. But like, if I can't take a break from things, because it ultimately means that I will never go back as dedicated as I was before. So that's my opinion on gap years and why I couldn't do them myself. But like, I know that they're beneficial to people. I've seen it be really effective for other people, but just not for me. I can't do that. So the final question comes from a guy called Mike, who has a hilarious pun name, but he's actually like a veteran question asker for me. I think since like FIFA 13 days this guy has been asking me questions, but this is the final question for this video anyways, and he says, would you say you've become more extroverted since YouTube? Since I started YouTube, I would say I absolutely have. I feel like I just have a much stronger command over my language, my vocabulary. how articulated I can be when making a point has improved so much because of YouTube. Like, I just feel like my ability to speak is from a very confident place at the moment, more so than it's ever been. I feel like if I were in a job situation, I wouldn't really have a problem approaching my boss with any problems that I had, you know, whereas before those were things like that I just would not be able to do. I'm the type of person who tends to avoid conflict at any opportunity. So like, if I were working and I were unhappy, I would just get on with it and kind of deal with it and bottle it. Whereas now I feel like I am able to express myself a lot more clearly, and that kind of rubs off in every aspect of life at the moment for me. Like, even with my friends and things, I guess I've never had a problem venting my opinions or whatever to friends, but just since YouTube, I feel like I'm just able to communicate with a much more broad like range of people than before. Like, even for example, I've had some interviews with job agencies lately, and I go into those with like complete confidence that, you know, they're gonna like me and that I'm gonna be able to sell people on the idea that I am looking for a job, and you know, just convince people that I'm for real and stuff like that. And that's a skill that I've learned from YouTube, and I said that in such a convoluted way that it's kind of ironic that I was praising my ability to articulate while kind of stuttering through that sentence, but it was because I was trying to think about what I was trying to say. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a like. Any support on the channel is much appreciated. Hopefully things will be back to normal pretty soon with my new career mode series coming out, and hopefully some FIFA 16 informational videos after next week, because I have a feeling EA are going to announce some pretty big stuff, apart from the women in FIFA 16. I hope they announce more things about women in FIFA 16 so that I can make more videos like my women in FIFA 16 video. But yeah, whatever, leave a like on this video, that'd be much appreciated. I've been Eldeniro. Fuck this!